So this video, or this live, I should say, is going to be on my thoughts regarding the whole Bianca character from beginning to end, the love interest she had, and what I think about the whole Bianca Maggie Zoe storyline that happened in late 2006, beginning in late 2006, concluding in 2009 or 2008, I should say, probably. Um, I understand that there's been a different variation of actresses playing Bianca throughout the whole series of the show. Eden Regal came in 2000 to play Bianca from 2000 to 2010, and then she came back to do the last run in 2013. Then they ended the show. They canceled it. Um, I didn't mind a whole lot of the love interest she had, but the one I went hardest for is Bianca and Maggie. Now, Maggie is the twin of Bianca's late lover, late girlfriend, Frankie. Maggie comes in trying to look for answers as to who killed her twin, and she runs into Bianca. Bianca automatically thinks, oh my god, that's Frankie. It's got to be Frankie. No, it's Maggie. Maggie ends up having different relationships prior to Bianca with men. Um, Towards the beginning of their relationship, she gets involved with Jonathan Lavery, the brother to Ryan Lavery. Um, he becomes extremely violent to Maggie. Bianca sees that Maggie is a um, domestic abuse survivor, but she is in denial because Jonathan's love bombed her and isolated her from her friends and family. Um, Bianca then calls on others within Pine Valley to get Maggie to have a reality check as to what Jonathan is doing to her. Maggie is still in denial until he hits her and leaves a bruise, and then Maggie ends up going to the hospital. Maggie then sees that Jonathan is in fact violent, and she ends up leaving Jonathan for Bianca. Bianca says, please talk to me. Please let me help you. Please let me be a friend to you to help you through this because I don't like what's happening. You're not who you used to be. You used to be fun, loving, sweet, kind. But now you're more standoffish, and I don't like that. Please let me help you. Well, Bianca ends up falling in love with Maggie, and Maggie tries to resist to all of those advances, but eventually ends up falling in love with Bianca. They go off to France together with Miranda to start their life. Maggie being a medical student, Bianca working on the Cambius Foundation overseas. Within less than a year, we find out that Maggie had cheated on Bianca with Cecilia. Um, Bianca then comes back to Pine Valley to, try to sort things out with herself, get away from Maggie for a while to figure out if she's going to save the relationship or not. Well, that's happening. Zarf comes into town, the British rock star comes into town, and he automatically takes a liking to Bianca. Bianca then tells him directly to his face, I am a lesbian. I am not attracted to men. I love women. I'm attracted to women. And he's like, I don't, I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm not trying to be weird. I want to try something. So he ends up kissing her. But then he says to her, you saw a woman sitting here, not a man. So he was dropping hints to her. She didn't know how else to take it. She's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And so she thinks that he's used her sexuality to somehow gain an advantage because he later comes out as transgender as Zoe, telling Bianca, I love you. Um, You helped me come out. And Bianca's like, Zoe, you don't come out because of someone. You come out because you have to. Because you know that if you don't, you won't survive. I know the feeling because I was in your situation once. Um, they then try to reconnect with their friendship, because Bianca then finds out that somebody had called her brother Josh, and Josh was asked by someone on the phone what his gender was, and he said, "I'm a man. I was born a man." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And then they both find out that that was for Zoe, because Zoe was wanting to go through the transition with the changing of the hormones and all of that. And so as a result, Bianca feels absolutely horrible for treating Zoe like shit. Well, before that, before any of that takes place, Maggie tries to warn Bianca about Zarf because she knows what he's doing, and she was trying to give her a heads up. And Bianca was like, Maggie, we're not together anymore, so you don't have a say in my love life. We don't live together anymore. We're not romantically linked. We broke up, remember? And so she didn't want to listen to the warning. She got her feelings hurt, but then she started falling for Zoe. That never took place, which after the whole Zarf Zoe Maggie storyline, we find out that Bianca had met somebody new named Reese Williams, who, like the other character, Sarah, had been engaged to a man. Unlike Sarah, however, Reese does not marry her male fiance. She dumps her male fiance because she wants to be with Bianca. Therefore, her family does not accept her being a lesbian. And they get married. Before they get married, they have a daughter, Gabrielle. And then they get married, and then Reese cheats on Bianca with Zach. They then try to repair their marriage. They get a divorce. Bianca gets involved with Marissa. Marissa becomes a stepmother to AJ and a stepmom to Miranda and her little sister. She is then murdered by JR. Bianca comes back, the original Bianca, Eden Regal, comes back and slaps JR dead square in the face for killing Marissa. I don't know what happened when they brought it back onto the web and they took it off cable television, but I didn't like that. I understand they had to do budget cuts because everybody was going through some shit. Sorry, financially to keep the show running, but they eventually had to cancel it because what else are we supposed to do? Everybody's going through financial crisis here. We have to take some budget cuts, but I don't. My whole thing is I don't have a thing against transgender people. I just don't. I didn't like the whole Zarf Zoe Bianca Maggie storyline. I felt that Bianca should have fought for Maggie. Maggie came back and tried to fight for Bianca because she loved her, and she actually knew and understood that the mistake she made caused her relationship with Bianca to go downhill. And Bianca was just like, I can't. I love you, but I can't. I've been with you. We were friends before we became lovers. I understand that, but I can't do this anymore. My heart been shattered. Um, I didn't like the whole storyline. Everything else prior to that was good. It made sense. Um, and there's people on here on YouTube that need to understand the difference between characters and real people. Because I had a person comment on a on my children episode of the Zarf Zoe Maggie Bianca storyline, and they didn't like the fact that the character was transgender. that person that's portraying that character is a real life human being. They're an actor. They are paid to do these things. That's what they get paid for. They're actors. Whether it be in soaps or movies, you have to know the difference between character and the person portraying the character. Those are two different people. Um, but yeah, I was never a fan of the Zoe Maggie storyline. I hated it. And I felt that they had so much going with those characters, Bianca and Maggie, but I can see why the people behind the scenes wanted to shake things up to see how the character of Bianca would react to someone who is transgender. Um, I I'm sad that it's no longer running, but I can understand why they had to cancel it because everybody was going through financial issues, and it was the longest running soap on television. We're talking 70s. That show has been on since the 70s, since before Eden came into the world and became an actress, because originally she was supposed to be a lawyer. But now, she's a mom. She's doing character work for Disney. She's doing shows for kids. I mean, she's got a whole different avenue going right now, and she's comfortable where she's at. And I will forever be grateful that Eden has moved on from that. But she'll always be our Bianca, my Bianca. I love her portrayal of that character. She gave it a lot of attitude and a lot of spunk that the other actresses prior to Eden didn't do. Bianca knew how to stand up for herself and be ballsy like her mother. I didn't see that with the other actresses, not even the one that replaced Eden in 2010. You can say what you want. I didn't like it. I couldn't stand it, and it made no sense to me. I don't know if there were uh, things going on behind the scenes. I understand that Eden didn't like the way that the Bianca character was going after all the hard work she did to try and bring that character to the forefront as a lesbian in 2000, to bring it out and say, "Hey, ma, I'm gay. I love women. I'm a lesbian." You know, but everybody was hoping that she would have some type of love interest with like Tad or somebody, a male uh, character, but they wrote her as a lesbian, and she changed soap opera television for all eternity. I don't see any other shows doing that, not once. And I would prefer at some point if they would be able to put these old episodes on disc for those of us that don't have those in our collection. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but this is just my 2 cents on the whole Zoe Maggie storyline. But like I said, they dropped the ball on it because you had people pushing for Bianca and Maggie to get together, get married, go off and do whatever on their own, but it didn't happen that way. They wanted to switch it up and see what would happen. Needless to say, I'm one of the many people that didn't like the whole Zoe Maggie storyline. I didn't care for Reese. I didn't care for the actress that took over for Eden after she left. And once I found out that they had switched it to web and they took it off cable television, I was like, okay, why? Now I understand why they did it, because they needed to cut back on finances. Everybody going through financial struggle because these are paid actresses. These actors and actresses get paid to do this. It's not easy. You come on set, you read your lines, you get prepared for the scene, you do the scene, and then you go on about your day. And you go home to your family and do whatever you need to do. But this is just my point of view. Everybody's point of view is going to be different from mine. This is mine. So, all right. Thanks. Bye.